Now let's do some hands-on. What will I do is that I'll be creating a data source and will make sure that Fabric can connect to the data source. Actually, there will be two data sources that I'll be creating. One would be Azure PostgreSQL database, and then the other one would be Azure Blob Storage. So these would be two different data sources that I'll create. And for Azure PostgreSQL, I'll be creating service principal. And for Azure Blob Storage, I'll be creating workspace identity. Now, using these two, Fabric Data Factory can connect to these two different sources and perform the downstream tasks that it is supposed to do. Not only that, I'll be loading the PostgreSQL database from files which are there in Azure Blob Storage. So this is the first hands-on that I'll do. I'll be creating the data sources. You also do the same. Create the data sources in Azure, and we'll be using the Fabric workspace, either trial or the F capacity, to create a Fabric Data Factory there and perform different operations. We'll be creating service principal for PostgreSQL and workspace identity for blob storage. Let us go ahead and do that. So I have got this resource group created, which is 3IAM Fabric resource group in the previous hands-on when I created the Fabric capacity. And now I'll be creating all the other resources in this resource group itself. First, I'll have to create a storage account which would contain the ADLS container. This is the name of the storage account, and of course the region would be Central India. The performance would be standard, and I do not want geo-redundant storage. I want locally redundant storage to keep the cost minimum. Anyway, I am in free trial. I still have another 55 days to go, and that's it, I guess. I do not need anything else to be created, but I have to make sure that I enable hierarchical namespace, because if I do not enable hierarchical namespace, I'll not be able to use ADLS. Click on next, then you have networking. And these are the various options of networking. Public network access, I have enabled it, and I'll enable it from all networks. Also, let me add a private endpoint, and I have already created a VNet, and the name of the VNet is this one, which contains public subnets, and there are two public subnets, so I'm attaching this particular public subnet. So that's it. The reason I am attaching or creating a private endpoint because it might be needed later on. I have kept everything as is, and let us go ahead and create the storage account, inside of which I'll be creating a container. Now let me create a container here, and inside of this container I'll be uploading 5 different files. First would be the account data file. Similarly, I have uploaded all the other files also. So I have created the first data source, which is the ADLS container. Now I'll be creating the other data source, which would be a PostgreSQL server. So you can search PostgreSQL here. There are multiple options. We have Azure Cosmos DB for PostgreSQL cluster. This is not the one that we'll be using. We'll be creating Azure database for PostgreSQL flexible servers. And we need this because this would be the other data source. So both you see are batch data sources. One is the database and the other one is a file which is on object storage, and in Azure that is ADLS or Azure Blob Storage. So let us go ahead and create this flexible server. The steps are very straightforward. I'll be creating this in the subscription and then the resource group that I have created for Fabric. This would be the name of the server and the region would be Central India. The version that I'm selecting is 17, and I'll be using the workload as dev test. I'll not be using production. And if I use dev test, it will create a burstable B2, which would give us 2 vCores and 4 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage, which should be enough for our use case. Then you have zonal resiliency or zonal redundancy. I have disabled it. And then there is authentication. There are 3 types of authentications. One is the Postgres, the other one is Microsoft Entra, and the third one is both Postgres and Microsoft Entra. To keep things simple, I'll be using PostgreSQL authentication, and then I'll have to provide the administrator login. The name would be Postgres, and then the password. After this, we'll have to provide networking, and I'll be using the connectivity method as public because I'll be connecting to this PostgreSQL server from my laptop. So that's why I'm enabling public connectivity. Along with that, I'm enabling public access also. And at the same time, I'm allowing public access from any Azure service within Azure to this server. I do not need any private endpoint as of now. So let us go ahead and create this. I'll keep the encryption as is, and then I'll go ahead and create this source. So there are two sources that we have created. Now in one source, we have the files loaded because I have uploaded multiple files in ADLS, and in PostgreSQL, there's no way to upload a file, right? So we'll have to create tables and use those tables as sources. Now what will I do? I will create tables and load those tables from the files which are there in blob storage, which means that I'll be loading these tables from the same files that I have uploaded in blob storage. And while using data factory, I'll use two tables from Postgres and the remaining three tables would be used from ADLS. It might take quite some time, but eventually the resource has been created. So this would be our second data source for data factory. Now, before using data factory, we'll have to load the table in Postgres. We'll have to create some tables in Postgres, and then we'll have to load the tables. So let us go ahead and do that. We'll get all the commands in the command sheet. This is the command sheet for data factory, and I have provided all the commands one after the other. This is only for data factory. So once you create the PostgreSQL server, you'll have to log in to the PostgreSQL server either from your laptop or somewhere else using a command line called psql or psql. After that, you can use these commands to look at the databases, to create a database, and then to create extensions, etc. Then you can create tables also. I'll be creating two tables, account table and customer table. And then I'll load these tables from the files which are available in my ADLS storage. And here are the commands to load the tables from ADLS or from blob storage. You have to change the file URL to the file URL that you are using. And then you'll have to add the storage account with the account name, access key, etc. I'll perform all these operations from the command line. Just wanted to show you that all the commands are available in the command sheet. Before connecting to the database, make sure to change a firewall rule. So go to networking and I'll allow everyone from internet to connect to this data source or to this database server. Now let's save it. To connect to the database, I'll be using a command line utility for PostgreSQL database, which is psql. You can download it in your machine or you can use a virtual machine also. I would recommend that you download the psql command line in your machine and use it to connect to the data source. Now, Azure provides the ways to connect, and it also provides the commands which can be used to connect to the data source. If you scroll down, and here you'll find this connect option. So just select this connect option, and this is what you'll have to use. These are the commands that you'll have to use. You'll have to copy all these, paste them here. Of course, the password would be different. I'll not provide the password right now. So all these variables have been set. Now I have set the password also, and if you type psql, it would connect to the Azure PostgreSQL database, and you are connected to the server. If you type /l, it'll give you all the databases that are there. Now I'll be creating a database, and the name of the database would be FinanceDB. That's it, the database creation is done. And if I type /l again, it will show me the database that I have created, which is FinanceDB. Now, of course, I'll have to connect to this database and create the tables. The first table that I want to create is account table, and the second table would be customer table. So these tables would be loaded from the files which is there in Azure Blob Storage. But you cannot use Blob Storage directly. You'll have to create some extension. If you want to create this extension and execute this command, it will tell you that the extension is not allow listed. The reason is that we'll have to set up certain variables in server parameters in PostgreSQL. Now to do that, we'll have to go to server parameters here, and there are two variables that we'll have to change. One is shared preload, and I'll have to select the Azure storage here. And there's one more variable which is azure.extensions. Here also you'll have to select Azure storage and then save it. Once you save, this is a parameter which needs the database server to be restarted. So use save and restart to restart the server. Alright, the server restart is done and I'm connect to the database again, and now let us go ahead and create the extension. Now you see I'm able to create the extension because I have enabled those server parameters. The next thing that we have to do is that we'll have to load the account table and the customer table from the files that we have uploaded in storage account. And to do that, we'll have to provide access to the storage account. And this is how we provide access. We'll have to use Azure storage.account add to provide the access. First, I'll have to provide the storage account name here. And after that, I'll have to provide access key. So we'll have to go ahead and create access key for the same. To create access keys, I'll have to go to the storage account and scroll down. In the security and networking, you'll see access keys here. And actually, there is an access key already provided, key 1 and key 2. There are two access keys rather. And I'll have to copy the access key. So you'll have to click on show, copy the access key, and then put the value of the access key in the second option. And the first one, I'll have to provide the name of the storage account. So that's it. The account has been added. And this is the next command wherein we'll have to add the user. And the name of the user is Postgres. And in the next command, wherein I'm using select star from Azure storage.blob_list, this is the storage account name and this is the container name. And if I execute this command, I should be able to see all the files which are there. Now, these are the files: finance account data, one CSV, customer data, ledger data, loan data, and transaction data. And this is the size of the files in bytes. So now what I have to do is that I'll have to load the tables, the account table and the customer table from these two files. Now to load the records in the file to the tables, I'll have to get the URL. And to get the URL, you click on the file and this is the HTTPS URL. And then we'll use this command, copy account from the file, and then I'll have to provide with format CSV followed by header. This is the name of the table. As I mentioned, all these commands are already there. You'll have to just copy and paste the command and change the values accordingly. So I'll go ahead and load these tables, both the tables, account and customer. And once these are loaded, make sure to stop the PostgreSQL server. To stop it, go to the PostgreSQL server and here you have the stop option. Please stop the server if you are not using it, because if you don't stop it, it will be charged unnecessarily and it would be taken away from your free credits. Make sure to stop the resources or delete the resources whenever you are not using it.